Okay, our next speaker is Katarina Jeremic. So Katarina, you can introduce yourself shortly and you can start.
Great, thank you, Maria, so much. I will leave the introduction about me for a couple of minutes later.
Okay.
First, I will share a screen, and I will kindly ask you to just confirm to me that you are seeing my screen properly. Just a second.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, that's great. So before I jump into the presentation, I would like to say that I'm extremely happy to be here with you today, honored and a little bit nervous at the same time. So please have that in mind. And I truly hope that the next 30, 40 minutes that we're going to spend in this room is going to be, before everything, fun to you and useful and inspirational in some way. So as you read, the title of the presentation was Bulldozers, Octopuses and Product Managers. What do we have in common? And this is a comparison that I will basically get back to at the end of the presentation, where I will give you what do I see that all these things have in common, and why do I think that these things are very, very similar, and they share some similar characteristics. So just one small remark, I have a dog which is pretty wild, so in case she starts barking or jumping here, please have understanding. She's quite hard to control when she doesn't have attention on her. We have these two circles here, and a small game at the very beginning. So we have an octopus, we have a bulldozer, we have a chameleon, which wasn't mentioned by far, but it's also a very important part of this thing. And on the other side of the diagram, we have product managers, right? Product managers. So I would like to give you 1 minute just to kind of really think about these two circles and write down, or just keep it in your mind. What do you think that's common between these two parts of the diagram? Because I want this to be a very dynamic discussion. It's not going to be some super presentational presentation. Feel free to ask questions also during my presentation, because I want it to be very very dynamic. While we are thinking about this, I'm gonna give you a couple of more things about what to expect out of this time that we have together. So this presentation is not really meant for, let's say, senior managers who maybe joined the conference to learn or hear more about some interesting frameworks and hands-on of product management. We are here basically to hear a story of a person, which happens to be me, who was non-IT at all. So I had zero IT background when I became a product manager in Ananas. And I hope to be able to inspire you in case that you are thinking of transferring to product management, but are not quite sure whether your background is fit to it, and you're not sure where to start. You know, how can you actually become something in an IT industry without having a zero IT background? So those are my expectations, and I hope that you came here to learn that as well. So another 10-20 seconds. I hope that you are thinking this through, and then we're gonna jump right into it. Okay, good. In the end, it would be great if some of you just raised a hand or unmuted yourself and shared what you wrote down, and then we're going to conclude it together. So as for the agenda, we're going to have several phases of this presentation. So first, we're going to start with the my story, but I want you to listen to it as a story of a person who has a very diverse background, but nothing from it basically is IT. So how I got from zero to PM real fast. Then we're going to touch upon a little bit about Ananas, which is company where I work in. It's one of the largest projects in the region. We are in e-commerce industry, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the company in case you don't know much about it. Phase 3 is going to be a discussion about why I love product management. I strongly believe that you need to love what you do in order to do it well, and in order to be able to persist in doing it well, because nothing is always smooth, nothing is always easy. Especially in an industry such as e-commerce, especially in product, in IT, where things and landscapes are changing very, very fast. So you really need to be in love with what you do in order to be able to persist and be constant and, overcome all the challenges that this beautiful era of the sphere of business brings with it. I will share with you some of the most valuable lessons that I learned by far. I'm going to name only a few of them, but lessons are countless. They're numerous, and especially in a corporate startup where we are operating as Ananas. In case you're not learning extremely fast, you would stumble upon some challenge and easily get demotivated and so on. So some of these valuable lessons are supposed to be a shortcut to you in case at some time you decide to take the leap and enter the product industry. Maybe you can apply some of these lessons and learn from others people's mistakes, which is the best way to learn, if you ask me. We will talk about some of the things I worked on just to help you get a grasp of what I do as a product manager in Ananas, since I believe that PMing is Ananas is not quite the same as in some other product companies or software companies. We are building this product in-house. It is our product, and we are putting all of our bets on it. And I just want to show you the diversity of the projects that we are having. I will touch a little bit upon the topic of the team and how important it is that you are working with great people, and in the end, the Q&A session. But I will just mention one more time that we don't need to wait for the Q&A session. So I encourage you to basically write your questions in the meantime, and I will be more than happy to just read it from the chat or unmute yourself and jump in. I think we have more than enough time for that, and it's going to be more interactive as well. So that's on the agenda. And the first part, as we said, is going to be my personal story, where I started, what I finished from university, and how I basically was swimming through different spheres of business and different companies and industries before I ended up in product management about 1.5 years ago. So yeah, I'm a newbie. And I am just at the beginning, still have a lot to learn, but I'm gonna call upon the fact that I've been learning product in Ananas, which is corporate startup, which kind of accelerates the learning path 3, 4, 5, if not even tenfold. So this is my personal impression, but I think it's very close to the truth. So from 0 to PM real fast. This is mini-me. And why I'm showing you mini-me, just to have some fun picture to look at while I tell you a little bit more about my personality, because I believe that this also played a crucial and important role in this journey of mine. So currently I'm 27 years old. I am a pretty happy-go-lucky person. I was and I am a geek, and since I was small, I was all around the place. I started singing and dancing at a very early age. I did a lot of sports. So this diversity and multifunctional environment and basically doing many things at the same time is something that is a normal thing to me, basically a part of my life since I was a little girl. I have dogs. I love dogs, and I have a big family, and all of these things allowed me to basically be understanding and let's say open to new things, which are also very important when you're starting in product. When I say also that something is very important or crucial and so on, I think it stands for me. It may not stand for you, but again, I'm here to share my kind of story, and hopefully some of you guys will relate with me. So this is my journey. Let's say from the graduation. I graduated finance. I studied in Hungary, and my major was finance and portfolio management, investment portfolio management. At this time, my dream was to be a CFO. I really wanted to be in finance, to be more precise, in finance in real estate industry. I really loved the corporative vibe to it. Everything is just where it should be. There is no much space for mistakes, for changing stuff and so on. And this is at that time it sounded to me like something amazing. Right now, from this position, when I think about what I was thinking back then, I think I was I was just young and inexperienced, and not knowing how monotonous and boring that sphere of business can be. Before we move on to the startup life that lasted for about 2 years in my career, I just want to tell you that before I even started university and so on, I was always kind of an entrepreneur. Yeah, so I was earning money and doing all sorts of outside of school activities that were fun and interesting to me. So I would like to say here that also entrepreneurship is something. This mindset is something that helped me succeed and slide into the product quite easily. So regarding the era of my startup life, I was mainly on the sales side of these startups. Some of them were product startups, such as Office Rent Info, for example. It was a marketplace for real estate. We were present in 8 countries in Southern Eastern Europe. And all I knew about IT and product back then was that over there in Budapest, at some out of the center building, there was sitting a group of about 20-30 people who were, solving tickets for us from sales when we noticed that something was not working for our client. And this was my understanding of IT back then. I wasn't really interested to learn and find out more in depth what are they really doing, how does the creation of the product that we are selling is working. I was brutally focused on sales, on traveling, on having meetings, and putting the product out there. And of course, I had to know what we were doing, what problems we were solving with this product. But as at that time 19-year-old girl, my scope of understanding was not that wide as I had it now. B&B and More was also a startup where we were doing property management. So we were basically renting out apartments and organizing all these cleanings and guests welcoming and so on. And in the online real assets, that was pure sales and marketing, where we were selling digital promotional activities, again, to real estate investors, mainly in the Hungarian and Austrian market. So this startup life period of mine lasted for about 2 years. And to conclude that part, it was solely sales and marketing, and not many connections to the IT. In 2020, I am returning back to Serbia, and I am entering Delta Holding company as a part of this program called Young Leaders. And my first choice, because we could choose what we want to do, of course, was finance, real estate. I'm still chasing my dream. This is where I want to go. So that's how it was. My first position in Delta Holding was in operational finance in Delta Real Estate. And this is where basically I was working very low level jobs, such as printing invoices, making sure all the invoices are proper, calling the tenants in different Delta's shopping malls around the region, to ask them to pay rent, and so on, and so on. And at that time I thought that, oh my God, this job is not teaching me anything. Little did I know that a few years later, when I will be in product in Ananas, that knowing what is a proper structure of invoice will be very useful for me. Knowing the difference between different VAT rules and systems for different products and services will be of very big use to me. So just to make a short point here, wherever you are now and whatever you do, I believe that you can extract and implement the knowledge and experience you have from the current position into the product that you will be doing once you start working in a product segment. So never underestimate what you're doing on your daily or current job, no matter how far or close it is to the IT. Sooner or later, it will come to use. There is no guarantee for this, but if I look back at my previous experiences, each and every one of these companies, jobs, positions, and so on has taught me something that I'm definitely using right now. So after a couple of months, I am finally and sadly understanding and accepting that being a CFO is not going to be a big driver for me. Being in finance is not going to be that fun for me either. I realized that I need some more space for creativity. And I took the courage and I talked to the HR basically, and we decided that I should go where my heart is, which is sales and marketing. So those of you who know me, you probably realize by far that my DNA is in sales and marketing. This is what my personality is about, and it was very natural that I transferred to that segment sooner or later. So after operational finance in real estate, I am jumping to the sales and marketing, pure sales and marketing again. So back to this part of the doing stuff. And I'm starting a position of B2B sales manager in Fun and Fit, where I was trading commodities. So I was trading rice, I was trading nuts, almonds, huge quantities in tons, import from Turkey, sell to Mercator, import from USA, they have good pistachios, sell here, sell there. So it was basically a classic trading with certain commodities. And within our sector, we also had another subsector, which was dealing with private label. So what we were basically doing, we were importing, different types of these snacks. We were mixing them and packing them into white label or private label marks and brands for Idea or Mercator, for Deleuze, for Aman, and all these local retailers or grocery shops. During this time, while I was in Fun and Fit, I also had another position within the company, which was for Recipe Technologies. At this time, this was a company that was just being founded. And currently we are, now it's been existing for almost 2 years, but what was the vision and the idea is to kind of sell sub-consultants to the Central and Western Europe, to big companies who are, whose systems are laying on the ERP SAP. And there I stayed a couple of months because Only after, I don't know, 1 or 2 months after I started in Fun and Fit company, I was invited to this mysterious interview. They wouldn't tell us at the beginning what was it. We were just ordered to go to the interview, and we couldn't have missed it. And this is where the journey called Ananas happens. And very quickly after that interview, 10 of us were being summoned. So we Ananas started basically with a group of 10 people. 10 of us were summoned to Crown Plaza, and this is where we were told that we're going to start digging and working on something that is supposed to become the biggest project in the whole region. Biggest in terms of complexity, biggest in terms of initial investment that is spared for the development of the project, and so on and so on. So before I continue this topic, I'm just gonna now connect picture to the era, to the period. So this is Kaya, a CFO wannabe. This is my first day of Young Leaders program. You see, I'm all corporate, you know, super ready to go there and climb the corporate ladder in the finance industry. Soon after that, I realized that that was right boring for me. I need some more space for creativity. And this is me in front of jumbo kikiriki bags. I loved that background. I remember when I used to have calls with different clients. This was my place where I would go to have a call because the background was super, super cool. This is a picture when I started working in Ananas in commercial. It's quite blurry because I couldn't find the original, but I love this picture because it is made on the day when we first made our sale. So when the first transaction on Ananas happened. And this is me holding the first merchant portal demo, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more later. So back to the timeline. When I started in Ananas, I was in charge, and there was a small team of us, 3 people at the time, who were given the opportunity to basically build the basis for the commercial department. What did we mean by that? So basically, you know, we are a marketplace. So now we understand that we have a supply side and we have a demand side, right? We have customers, but okay, marketing is going to bring those customers, but what are they going to buy? So our task was to start building the supply side of Ananas. This is where I first got introduced in creating a contract from scratch, you know, creating the commercial policy. None of this was familiar to me, but hey, you're there, there's a fire, you were thrown in a fire, and you can't go out. The only way you can advance and move on is to learn how to burn without being burnt. And this is, I think, the best way to learn, and what actually enabled me also to transfer to the product so easily. So throughout all this time, ability to learn fast and adapt to changing environment was crucial in my opinion. And this is something, if I had to take out one advice, this would be it. You know, be open to learn stuff. So after 1.5 years in sales, I decided that I need something else. So in the meantime, we were building Ananas from scratch, but I will talk about that a little bit later. In the meantime, we started working with the HTech, which is a company, partner company, who helped us, you know, build the platform, the very first version. And as being part of commercial sector, they had to have a business owner on Ananas side who is going to provide the requirements and instructions. How are we going to, you know, onboard these merchants that we sign contracts with? How are they going to enlist their products? How are they going to price their products? Change the prices, change the stocks, and so on and so on. And as curious as I was, this couldn't have gone without me being involved. So, and it was, of course, kind of natural. So even while I was in sales and that was my primary job, I was constantly and in parallel working on creating this merchant portal, you know. And this is where I first got introduced to, you know, Jira and Figma. Oh my God, when I saw Figma for the first time, I was amazed. Like, I have never seen a designer tool before that. So that was a period of constant surprises. And yeah, eventually it drove me to realize that now I want to be on the product side. Now I want to step in a little bit into IT, because yes, sales and marketing, it's an integral part of me. But I knew that already. It was kind of, you know, I've been for years in that segment of business, and there was no much place to go, you know, to expand the field what I'm, or anything I'm working at. So transferring to product was, now from this point of view, very, very natural thing. That's what I did. So 1.5 years ago, I'm officially transferring into the product team, which was at that time very small. Now we have grown, but we're gonna touch upon that topic as well. And yeah, in the end, just one small milestone, which is that currently I'm a part of Delta's Future program, and I'm very happy that they are also taking people from IT, not only from business, because Delta being a corporation, you know, business and business value is always something that is main focus. So this was short, or maybe not so short, story about my journey. And you see, there is a lot of different things here. It's quite hectic as well. This company, this position, that company. So I just want to conclude this slide with saying that it's okay that you keep searching for yourself, to keep testing where is the best place for you. Eventually it will come. I think I was lucky that it kind of came to me at 27. I mean, who knows, in 5 years maybe I will go somewhere else, but if you keep searching and if you keep looking, the right place will find you. So next topic is a little bit more about Ananas. So now you got to know me. Let's talk a bit about my company. I could talk about Ananas for years. As you see, I'm very hyped up about this topic. And the idea of this slide is to basically bring the whole project closer to you. So we are an ecosystem, basically. Ananas is not only the online shop or mobile application that you use to buy stuff online that you need. We are an ecosystem which consists of course, the core system, which is the marketplace. We are also in a supply chain business because we have our own fulfillment facilities, our own carriers. We are in retail business as well because we are trading. We are entering the fintech. We are entering the digital ad space, and yeah, when currently we are present in 2 countries. We plan to expand in the whole region. As you maybe remember the parole from the beginning, we are the striving to be the Amazon of the Balkans. So in money and in scope and in scale, we are the largest project in the region currently happening. And our whole ecosystem consists of 4 web applications. We have 2 applications, and we are currently present in 2 countries, as I said. So our slogan is also hard but strong, or in Serbian, teško ali jako. And I think this perfectly describes the environment we are working in. We are a group of people with very diverse and different backgrounds. And we are functioning together very well, even though we have all these differences. So some more fun facts. So we have more than 400 enlisted and published merchants right now. So in case you haven't checked ananas.rs, I advise you to do so. And please give me some feedback after you do that. I am always curious to hear what users and then consumers have to say about us. We have more than 300 enlisted products. And if I had to sum up in one sentence, how does it feel working in Ananas and on this project? Well, imagine that you built a badass airplane. which is really, really good, high tech, very big. But you haven't, tightened up the last screws and so on. And because of the market timing and go-to-market timing and sensitivity of the market, you had to launch it at a certain time in order to be there first, right? So we launched this airplane, we made it, we put it up to the sky, and now there's a bunch of people, who are like flying on the airplane but are fixing the airplane at the same time. So this is a metaphor that I think really well describes the atmosphere and the dynamic that we are having here at Ananas. So this concludes the part about the Ananas project. Again, it's very complex. I couldn't have fit it in such a short time, but I hope that you did at least get a grasp of the size and the complexity of the project, and why I said at the beginning that Ananas being a corporate startup really pushes you to learn much faster in a very hectic environment. And I guess that's why I was even I have some sort of, let's say, right and the credibility to talk about my journey, even though it was relatively short, if we talk about the product part of the journey itself. So next thing I would like to talk to you about is why I love product management. And the animation of this slide is going to tell us now why. Because we are the heart of the system, and this is what really drives me, to be in this segment. Because product management, as a product, you are there between the business, and this is where my sales people inside me are happy when I do product, because I'm still connected to the business. I still have the opportunity, and I'm required to think in business terms. What value will this feature or this change or whatever bring to our business, money-wise, or in terms of boosting certain strategic KPIs that are important for our growth or expansion, or whatever is the strategic goal at that time. So we have business. Then we have this tech part, which is a total gray area for me at the beginning. On the other side, we have UX, or the customer experience. So here it says only UX, but I would add also the CX, because customer experience is a crucial part of that. So as a product, and as a product manager, your job is to look after a specific product or products within a business. And that is why this role is at the very heart of the organization. You need to balance between what you need to deliver, what value you want to deliver to your company, which is, right, usually profit. And then you have to balance that out so that your blindness for some value that you want to bring won't jeopardize the UX or customer experience. And also you have to incorporate the what is technically and operationally possible without making a mess. And I made a mess a couple of times, so I'm speaking this from experience. So if I had to describe this learning curve of how I kind of managed to at the end find myself in the middle of this diagram, is that there are those funny videos where a dog is taking himself for a walk alone. He's like holding his own leash. Well, that's how I felt many times on my learning journey in product. The dynamic of the work is so big that there were not mentors. There was no ability to really have time and now learn the frameworks, learn the concepts, learn the right way to write PRD. You were just thrown there, and you had to deal with it. So yeah, I was a dog, basically taking myself for a walk alone at times. And I think this is also beautiful, and it's also one of the reasons why I do love product management, because you can learn at your own pace and by yourself, and you can frame yourself to be a product that is true to you. Some more reasons. I am surrounded by people who are smarter than me. This is a very big driver for me. Each and every person in my team is ingenious, and I look up to them. This is something that was, and I'm not lying, like this is something that was the deal breaker when I had to make this, at that time, hard decision whether I should leave sales, which I loved a lot, and transfer to product. So this ability to be surrounded by people who are thinking on another level, who are smarter than you, it was a big flex for me. I also get to release my jack of all trades personality, which you can't really do in many you can't do in all types of jobs. In product, I managed to do this, and I am managing. I will use the present continuous because it's something that's going on always. We are just at the beginning. That's another reason, and I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit more. Product in Serbia, in this region, is at the very beginning of growth, right, of as a profession itself. And it's amazing that we are having these conferences and so on, and I anticipated that there's going to be more and more of events like this and opportunities for product industry to grow. Because if you look at Western Europe or America or Israel, for instance, where the tech industry is quite strong, I mean, product managers from there are on another level. I mean, they're aliens, if you ask me. And I'm really striving to achieve that level of knowledge, knowing the frameworks and everything over time. So yeah, we are here. There is a big wave coming, which is gonna just lift the product industry at some point. And of course, it's good to be there at the bottom of the wave, so that your rise goes very smoothly with it. So yeah, if you're looking for industry to jump to, which is very perspective, product, totally recommend. Next one is that I get to create and build things from scratch. This also maybe comes from the fact that I've entered product in a startup, let's say, company, where from the very beginning we were creating and building things from scratch and so on. But whenever I'm reading about product or listening to some lessons and so on, or experiences of other people, this is usually something that comes up as a reason why to love product, because you can be, you are the creator. You are the creator in this sense. Yes, I succeed even when I fail. This is what's so beautiful about the product, because it's all about, right, testing your hypothesis, and you don't have to always be right. And this was something that was very hard for me to accept and understand that it's normal, because I was a perfectionist. Before, especially because of this finance background, there's no room for a mistake. One number more or less, it can make a big problem in some other report. So it was for me beautifully unraveling to understand that here, when you fail, when you make a mistake, or when you prove yourself that your hypothesis is wrong, that's also a success. So I mean, it's a win-win, right? There's not much more to express some philosophy there. And to sum up this part, I love product management because I believe it's pure leadership. And if you aspire to go into the business leadership at some point in your life, I think product management is a great way to learn that, because you're working with a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders at the same time. It's not always easy. Working with people is the hardest, right? Especially when it's a large number of people. And this is where you get to practice your ability to set a vision, to share that vision with others, That's what I was talking about. To share your vision with others, to inspire others to believe in your vision, and then to put all of you together to work on the same thing. And this is pretty satisfactory for me, and that's also a key reason why I love product management. Next slide is going to be about the most valuable lessons. As I mentioned in the beginning, I'm going to name 6 of them, but there are much more, of course. First one is that communication is the key. So it's more about management, less about product. I believe that this can be different depending in which type of product company or software company you work. Somewhere it's the ratio is a bit more equal, but in our case, this is very much true. So you have to work with all the stakeholders, and you also have to know the system from in depth and vertically and horizontally in order to be able to identify stakeholders, what's under the hood, what can be done different. Maybe something doesn't need a development. Maybe we already have certain tools that can be mixed, and in order to provide a certain or satisfy certain need of business or customer and so on. Second thing is that timing for launching something is right when the organization is ready for that change, and not when you are ready, or in this case, when I was ready. Now, I'm going to give a real life example. At the very beginning, I was so convinced that we need public API from the very beginning. I was so convinced that we need a business model which is fit to work with the distributors, with wholesalers. And I was so nervous and in some ways angry that we are not doing this. And like, I see that we need it, right? Like, why are we not doing it? And only years later, our current CEO explained me this thing, which helped me understand that if you are a visionary, it can be dangerous that you blindly believe in your vision. So always touch and try to find the pulse of the organization before you actually try super hard to push something. Number 3 is learn to let go and be ready to prove it wrong. Once I accepted this, I became so much more relaxed at work. Cut down the scope. So prioritizations are always going to change, but if you scope down the features and functionalities and break them into smaller parts, the output is going to be shown more frequent, and you can more frequently test at the smaller samples, and it has numerous benefits. So it doesn't have to be full functionality, super beautiful design-wise, functionality-wise from the very start. Number 5, always have hypotheses for your work, because this is telling you where you're starting. And always reflect, measure, and summarize the lessons learned. If you're not learning from the previous experiences, it's very likely that you will repeat the same mistakes, or that you won't do things better than, and maybe they could have been done better. So those are the lessons. And some of the things that I worked on. So Merchant Portal is my first baby. Here I remember when a much experienced colleague came to Ananas E-Product and took over Merchant Portal from me. I was kind of sad, but I was also very happy at one point, because our head of development said at that time that this Merchant Portal was at the level of like university work, and for some people this would be how to say, it would be a bad thing. But when I heard that, I was like, God, I created something which could have, given me a pass on a university without having any experience in product or whatsoever. So that was a very joyful moment for me. And here I have to give a shout out to all the HTech people from HTech. All of them, they had a great influence on me to start loving this what I'm doing now. So HTech crew who worked on Ananas, big hello to you. Then my next project was a hybrid redesign, where we did a complete redesign of the platform. We can talk about this more in depth. What was the goal? What were the benefits? What did we achieve with this? Then the third project worth mentioning is Voucherify, which is the implementation of a third-party SaaS solution for vouchers, promo codes, and so on. So this was my first integration that I handled from the beginning till the end. As a product manager, of course, and with the help of the development team, without any question. Next one was Ananas Gift Machine, where we had 3 versions. And this is like a gamification tool which helped us boost our base for more than 150,000 registered users. Again, many other side benefits and KPIs were achieved with this, which we can talk about offline or tonight. Maloprodaja pravnim licima, which is a great example of a small feature that has brought us so much to Ananas GMV and revenue, let's say daily revenue of orders, that I was very surprised. So my hypothesis was that we will increase the number of orders by 20% and average order value by 30% in the first 6 months after launch of the feature. We kicked that in the first, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. So my hypothesis was very wrong, right? Because we overachieved it, but you know, at least we showed that we are thinking in the right KPIs. And the last but not least, a project I'm also working on and that I manage as a product manager is Ananas mobile app, which is launched relatively recently. And we currently just finished a series of UX research, which was the first time that I was doing. So if there was no for older and more experienced designer colleagues in our team, I would have probably failed at the first couple of interviews. But I did it. I tried it, and now I know better for the next time. So yeah, don't be afraid to do to try and do new stuff. Okay, so here I was anticipating that I will have a bit more time to talk in depth about each and every one of these projects, but we're gonna skip that for now because we don't have much time. But I am available to discuss any of it after all. So to conclude, the moment of wisdom, and why do I think that Bulldozer, Octopus, and Chameleon are very similar, and they all have similarities with product management. So as for the Chameleon, I think that from him, we should learn and we should borrow the fact that he is very able to adapt to changing environment, right? Changing colors. They are pretty kind and harmless. And because you are working and communicating with a lot of people on a daily basis, you should be too. I'm not saying that I'm always kind and harmless. I have these moments of like being expressive and not so assertive, but this is where I'm going towards to. And another fun and very useful thing chameleons can do is that they can look at different directions at the same time. They can literally move their eyes into different directions. And I think that as a product manager, you have to be able to do this from time to time and to, you know, look at different things. What can we learn from bulldozers, and why should we as product managers be like bulldozers a little bit? We have to be brutally persistent, especially when it comes to feature or functionality adoption by users, whether it's end users or business users. Whatever you do, you have to be brutally persistent and not give up, especially if you're working in a corporate kind of environment where things are slow. You have to be multifunctional. I think this is pretty much self-explanatory. And you have to do well on all terrains. So again, we are talking about being able to adapt to different environments. And a little bit of octopus stuff. So we have to be able to multitask brutally. This is what octopus are like. They're born to do this. We have to be very playful, resourceful, and curious. And this is what is going to drive us as product managers to be constantly innovating, being self-critical, and use different resources that we have, and also be out there to seek for useful resources constantly. And another lesson from Octopus is that there is always another way. What I meant here is that, I don't know if you were watching these videos, but if you close Octopus in a non-escapable box, they will escape. They will find a way. And if you close one hole where they escaped the first time, they will find another hole, and they will go through it, no matter how small or big it is. So another lesson is that there is always another way. So if the first one didn't work out, go with the second one. And all in all, that's what product management is in my humble experience. Unfortunately, I didn't have the theme picture, but this is where I would put it if I had it. I want to give a shout out to my team, because I wouldn't love this job if it wasn't for them. And I also advise you that if you're transferring to product, get to know who you will be working with, because this makes a very big difference. And that's it, folks. I just want to have a little small surprise for you. I made a voucher, which is Roadmaps 23 for Ananas. It is 500 dinars, but you don't have any minimum cart value. The idea is to, if you haven't tried Ananas yet, just try it with this voucher. Buy something small, something interesting. We have more than 300,000 products. If you have difficulties to find something, call me. I will tell you where to look for regarding what you need. And I would love to motivate you and to inspire you to return back to us some sort of feedback of your journey on a mobile application or our website. So yeah, I think I'm going to conclude here. I jumped 5 minutes over the time, but Maria, I hope that's not a problem.
It's not a problem. Thank you very much. It was very interesting and refreshing. So thank you for that. And I would like to ask other participants to if they want to ask you something or to share something, feel free. If you are shy, you can write a comment.
Okay, I see Antonina wrote reacting accordingly in different situations and having a set of different skills. This was Antonina, I suppose, your estimation on what do these three have in common with product managers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I try to find a thing that is common for all those four things we mentioned.
And I must say, I completely agree, and thank you for putting it together like this. So would you mind reading it again, or I can do it, it doesn't matter, out loud, just so that everybody understands, because a lot of important things lay here in what you wrote.
Of course. So I think that a thing that we all have in common is reacting accordingly in different situations and having a set of different skills. And yeah, multitasking as well. But I think that we should pay attention to that part, because we should not multitask all the time, because it can have downsides as well.
Absolutely true. That's where the chameleon also comes in a little bit, In this situation, you can react this way, but in another situation, you have to turn into a different color. It depends on the environment. Yeah, great. Great. Thank you, Antonina, for the interaction. I'm very happy. Okay, so we have another question. How do you measure engagement and retention within the products you build? Example, that gift machine or such, what are the conversions that matter regarding those particular feature? Okay, so gift machine is one of the most interesting and most complex things we did. So how did we measure engagement? Well, we basically mapped the steps in the whole gift machine process, and each step had its own status where a certain event or conversion was happening. So the first important thing for me was how many people do even engage with Okay. How many people even engage with the gift machine so that I know whether a pop-up is a proper, initiating thing. Then I wanted to know how many people left us their consents, because the main goal and KPI of the gift machine was to push the base, so increase the number of registered users and the newsletter subscribers, and to increase indirectly number of orders with the vouchers that we were dealing through gift machine. So basically, whenever I launch some feature, what I do is that I create the most the perfect report that I would need in order to follow these metrics. And in our system, it works that way, that I send the structure of this report, and then I have a couple of sessions with the BI team, the data team, which is creating this report, and then I'm basically following it on a daily basis. After the feature is finished, we are recapping the whole thing, and then we are putting out the main KPIs and the main lessons learned. What are the conversions that matter regarding those particular feature? Well, I mentioned it. So it was the number of registered users, number of subscribers to email address. Later on, we introduce also opt-in for phone number, and the add-on number of orders on a regular number of orders that we would expect in that period. So it's not always easy to find this, especially what effect a certain feature has on number of orders, but we are testing and kind of, estimating a lot. So Yelena, I don't know if this answered your question. So how much, what percentage of users for the entire Ananas should use that particular feature in order for you to consider it successful? Well, for example, for a gift machine, we were hoping that 30% of visitors would start the gift machine and would leave us the consent. This was our estimated conversion. In the end, it turns out that it was much, much more. Also, this is the first time where I got introduced to fraud. So when we were creating this feature, I wasn't even thinking that some people would, try to put in some scripts to hack the gift machine, and then we ended up with having like 50,000 new registered users, which were actually false accounts. So after that, we had to go back and delete. So all of this was very, very fun experience. I remember this was the first time people were starting to, trigger Ananas and write about Ananas in such way in benchmark. So for the beginning, that was shock for me. I was scared. What did I do? This is bad PR. Like public is talking badly because we didn't build some security or anti-fraud system in the gift machine. But in the end, all that fuss that was happening in the benchmark was good, because people were coming to see what they can do on Ananas. So all in all, in the end, it turned out very good. So good that now we are creating the third version of the gift machine, and that we are having a plan to create a whole back office tool to manage these gamifications, and then maybe eventually be monetizing it and selling it as a digital product to other marketplaces, companies, and so on. Thank you, Yelena, for your questions.
Thank you, Yelena, and thank you, Katarina. And I would also like to ask for others if they can give us feedback. So you can join menti.com and use this code. So you can leave your feedback there. Or if you want, you can ask something. We have 2 minutes more.
Is anybody here who hasn't, who is not product manager currently, but is looking? I mean, was I even speaking to the right audience? Just to know for myself, or you are all from the industry already? Okay, I think people need a break. Okay. Formally, I'm not a PM, but looking for a first gig. Well, Yelena, I wish you best of luck. I think there's a lot of space, where you can go to. And if you're coming tonight to the ICT Hub, it would be great to meet up and have a chat. maybe we can maybe I can help you where to go, which direction. And Antonina, I'm PO, if that counts. Hello, product owner. Of course that counts. I think the roles are very similar and very different at the same time. Some companies don't have these two roles separated. Some companies do and need them very much. I was reading a lot about this, and the opinions are really diverse. So I see product owners as, you know, as product managers as well, and vice versa. Maybe in my opinion, POs are a bit more tech oriented, and yeah, so definitely counts.
Thank you very much, and thank you all.